What's up, guys? It's Daniel from Arms Family Homestead, and as you can see, today is the day. The day has finally arrived to bring the New Holland skid steer and this Ironcraft Attachments disc mulcher to the Mill Creek property. Now, there's a couple different reasons to do all of this, but mainly, so this is this property's two 80-acre properties that we've combined, and so 160 acres. We've done a lot of work. I hired a forestry mulcher to come in and do some work on the original 80 acres when we bought it, but Ironcraft Attachments has so graciously sent this over for us to test out. This mulcher is my goodness, I've only got a couple hours of run time on it right now, but it's unbelievable. But the second 80 acres is completely overgrown with tons of cedar trees, eastern red cedar. They're a nuisance, a problem, and I want to open up some areas for deer hunting. I want to open up some trails and some roads through the property, because that's like my favorite thing about buying a property, or even owning a property, period, is improving it and making it better. Making it better first for us, for fun, to enjoy it. Second, for the wildlife, for the deer and things, because eastern red cedar serves no purpose for the deer other than maybe to rub their antlers on. And third, we're increasing our property value. So having the skid steer and equipment and things, I know a lot of people, they don't understand why we want to do all this stuff. And first off, I enjoy it. And second, it really does increase the property value. I have no idea how long we're going to own this piece of land. It may be a year or two, or it may be 10, 20, 30 years. It may go down generations to one of our kids. But everything that we do on this property to make it better increases the property value. But as you saw in the intro, I try to do my best to take care of my equipment. So I bring it in. We used it at the house for, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours total. But I went ahead and blew all the dust off, washed it, lubed everything up, and then I can kind of check it and make sure it's all in good shape. And I think that's important. I try to take care of my equipment. I can be rough on things sometimes. Accidents happen and things break, but I at least want to be diligent in my maintenance and taking care of it. So hopefully, as long as I take care of this thing, it'll take care of me. Now, this guy right here is an unbelievably powerful machine that, like I said in the other video the other day, can be very dangerous. So I'm by myself, there's no one else around, and we're going to make sure we're not throwing debris at anyone, because this thing can throw some debris. Having said all of that, I'm going to fire up this skid steer and get to work over here, because I've been waiting for this day for months. We're going to go make some cedar trees explode, and it's really dry and really dusty, and it's just going to be a mess. Okay, so here is one of my problem areas that I really want to attack, and I'm going to throw the drone up in the air just high enough so you guys can kind of see. This used to all be an open field, and it's been taken over by these cedar trees, and it looks like the previous landowner came in, probably bulldozed this area several years ago, and it's just regrown, and there's tons. I mean, I could work for days and days and days out here, and probably will this winter, because it'll be easier to spot the cedar trees in and amongst the green. But even all of my roads and trails, just off the road there, is nothing but cedar trees. And once you get more than, you know, just a little ways in, there's less cedar in there. So I guarantee you I'm not going to finish all of this today, because we're testing this thing out, not just trying to do the same thing for 5 or 6, 7 hours straight. So we're going to hit some cedar trees, we're going to hit some brush, we're going to do some different things, and hope there's no rocks in there. Well, there you have it. 5 hours, about 5 hours of work on the skid steer with this disc mulcher. And I am nowhere near an expert on this thing, but I feel like I'm a lot more proficient and got a lot accomplished, really. I mean, seeing those cedar trees just explode and disappear, it just makes my heart happy. I have a strong hatred for cedar trees. They just take over. They're horrible. They're no good for anything. So we're going to drive around. I'm going to jump on the Kubota sidekick, drive around, look things over, show you what all we got done. I brought a couple buckets of feed to put out to feed the deer. We are working on baiting the pigs. Dutch is supposed to bring my pig trap back in about a week or so. So we're baiting in the hogs over here. There's quite a few. I bet we probably got a dozen, maybe 15 pigs, not counting the babies. And I'm telling you what, this thing right here is going to get a lot of work done at this place. I love that I have the skid steer and the disc mulcher here now, because I can come over here, and just work for a couple hours. And the biggest, hassle is moving this thing from one place to another. It just takes a lot of time to load and move and unload and all that stuff. So having it here, I can leave it here for a while. Still got a tractor at home, we can do some work. But anyways, like I've said before, huge thank you to Ironcraft Attachments for letting me use this disc mulcher. I don't actually own it. They sent it to me to test out and try it and get some good use out of it for a few months. I'm going to do everything I can to get as much work as I can done with it. But if you're interested in, a disc mulcher or a brush cutter, any kind of skid steer implement, tractor implements, be sure to look up Ironcraft USA is their website, I believe. I'll leave a link in the description box. We'll put it on the screen. Anyways, let's go check it out. Did a little cleanup here, not a ton, but there were a lot of rocks scattered out in this stuff, and that's just part of owning a new property, is finding everything that people left behind. Like there's a big piece of steel laying there and a giant boulder right here, but check out what I found over here. There's an old brush hog. I don't know if it's any good or not, but there's a brush hog and some old telephone poles and fencing material, some T-posts and some wire. You just never know what you might find. And one thing to remember, this is 160 acres. So that is a lot of land, and there's a lot of space that needs to be cleaned up, a lot of cedar trees to be taken out, a lot of brush to be managed, and this is not going to be a quick process, really. But I'm going to do my best to take advantage of the equipment I have while I have it, for sure. Okay, so I did do some cleanup along just trail edges, road edges, just, kind of cleaning up the edge of these natural roads, or, well, maybe not natural, man-made roads and trails down through a lot of the property. But I told you I was going to focus most of my effort today on this field right here. Now, I would throw the drone back up in the air and show you. I have a problem, though. I only have one battery for the drone, because I had three and a bag and everything. I was flying the drone and working. Somebody ran over my bag full of extra batteries with the skid steer, and it no longer exists. But anyways, let's take a look at this field. So right up here is where I started the video with you guys, and this whole area, there's a brush pile right there, remnants of a brush pile, but this whole area was nothing but solid cedar trees and brush and briar so thick you could not walk through it. And I feel like I did I don't know, probably less than an acre, but there were a lot of cedar trees in there that were 10 to 12 feet tall, and we got a pretty good start on this field. Obviously it keeps going quite a ways back. I'm going to clear all the way to that tree line over there, but we got a pretty good start on it today. So I figure some of you might be interested in seeing the results and what it looks like after you come through with that disc mulcher. And it's not perfect, and there's no way you could come through here with like a seed drill and plant this. If you wanted to plant something in here right now, you'd have to broadcast it. But as you can see, it chops most everything up pretty small. There's some bigger pieces, but the more you go over it back and forth, the smaller you can make those. But I'm looking for stumps and stobs. Now there's a lot of little briars and things sticking up out here. I was going to show you a spot where you can take that disc and basically grind your stump down to ground level or even below. There's so much mulch on the ground. Here's one. Here's a stump right here. So that's what's left of a tree right there. Actually, that doesn't look like one that I ground today. That looks like old damage. I ground most of them pretty short. There's a few stobs. You know, I could come back over this and knock those stobs down because those are not really good. But I tried to do my best to avoid leaving tall stobs like that. Well, I just thought I was going to show you some of the stumps out here. Problem is they're buried under, you know, a couple inches of mulch now, basically. And all that stuff will decay over time. Some of it will take longer, obviously. But this is 1,000 times better than some of that over there, right there. Like that, we don't want those cedar trees like that. So like I said, it's not perfect, but it looks 1,000 times better. And it's just really, it's kind of sad, really, because the reason there's brush piles out here is because the previous landowner came in with a bulldozer and opened up some big fields. He cleared trees and brush and made this an open field, but then wasn't able to maintain it. And once those cedar trees take a hold and start spreading, they just pop up everywhere. And within a few years, you're right back where you started. This is a pretty good before and after. So there's what it looks like untouched. And here's a good example of some of those cedar trees. Like that has no value for deer or turkeys or anything. Maybe a few scattered just for a screen, you know, like to block a view somewhere. But there's what it looks like before, and there's what it looks like after. All of this will resprout and make forage and food for wildlife. And, you know, I don't mind ground cover and grass and things for the deer, but that kind of mess right there is just not what I want. Well, folks, that's going to do it for me for the day. It's turned out to be a beautiful day. It's really nice sitting here under these pine trees. I kind of like it. This is a really cool spot. I mean, I know the little trailer house isn't anything fancy or anything super nice, but the previous owners that planted all these pine trees in here, man, they made it a cool spot because we don't have many pine trees around here. But anyways, guys, that's all I've got for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. You guys have a great day. And as always, we'll see you on the next video.